Hey everyone, this is Chelsea Van Buskirk with the Heart AF podcast. Thank you for listening. I don't know how many of you out there are Stranger Things fans. I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. It's been really fun to watch with our older two daughters. Just a fun family show to watch together. And this last season was freaking amazing. And I feel like there's a lot of parallels you can take, especially from this latest season. And of course, there's a lot of storylines that are open to interpretation. I've read a lot of blogs and other people's insights on what they think is going to happen next as far as the storyline with Vecna and what's going to happen with Max and all these things. But I had this thought. One of the biggest things I feel like in this season is music. Okay, so I think if you are aware of season 4, we know that Kate Bush's song has just topped the charts since it first came out in the 80s. Like, this season has done wonderful things for that artist and the song Running Up That Hill. And the thing about that song is there are a lot of empowering words and messages in the lyrics, the melody and just the way it's placed and how it affects Max's character. One of the most profound things I came to a conclusion about this whole experience between Max and Vecna was how Vecna and his way of getting his victims is through their mind, and it's through their fears and those biggest traumas or insecurities that they seem to be holding on to. So Vecna gets inside his victims' heads and he's replaying these traumatic events and things that I think they feel guilty about, things that they're insecure, things that they would like to put behind them, things from their past they struggle with and want to keep in the back of their head. And you get to see the one victim that escaped, which was the dad that escaped, now we know as One's father. You go back and in that scene where that family is first getting taken by Vecna or One, that the dad's replaying all these stories in his head from war where he, had killed this family and this baby is burning. I mean, just these traumatic memories. And you think of the people actually experiencing those kind of traumatic experiences. We see the young man who was working with Nancy, that student who it flashes back to the accident that he was in. It shows the scar on his face and just how he probably felt guilty for that accident and just not wanting to kind of deal with that and put those things behind him. And then I think the one that we get more intimate with is obviously Max's character and going to that place where her brother was a complete asshole. Like, throughout those previous seasons, the brother just treated her like shit, was very evil. He was a very kind of scary character where you didn't really know what he was capable of because he was dealing with a lot of these internal pains and struggles, and he himself had been abused, and now to not feel his pain, he's inflicting pain on others, so to speak. And there comes this moment in the end of the 3rd season where he does sacrifice himself in order to save his sister and the rest of the group there. And you can tell that's something that Max feels really guilty about because there was so much of her that had this hatred for her brother. There is a time where she vocalizes these feelings of wishing that he may get in a car accident sometime and something would happen to him because he just made her life so miserable, and just having those guilty feelings because he actually sacrificed himself, and then that leading to the splitting apart, his dad and her mom, and now they're living in this trailer park, and the mom is obviously struggling. You see snippets of her, obviously having some kind of an alcohol problem, struggling to make ends meet now as a single mom, kind of left high and dry. So there's a lot of layers, I think, just showing some real life scenarios of things that we struggle with on a day-to-day. But the interesting thing is that the way to overcome Vecna, or the way the survivor, that dad, he was able to not succumb to Vecna getting into the mind of replaying those scenes of his traumatic memories, was listening to music. And listening to music that elicited those positive feelings and those positive memories, that was able to keep him safe and out of it to where he didn't fall a complete victim, right? He did obviously suffer some things. And now we have Max, who, when she was getting preyed upon, was using that song, and it was her favorite song, and just listening to that song kept her grounded and kept her from succumbing to those internal workings of Vecna getting into her mind and getting into those insecurities and being that voice of just telling her all those things that you normally tell yourself. So what I'm trying to get at is this paints a perfect picture to what realistically goes on in our own heads and how all of us have this Vecna piece inside our head, and that is our fear voice. That is the voice where we are our own worst critics. So now we can have this name to give that worst critic, or that part of ourselves, that fear, that negative self-talk voice. Like, that is Vecna. That is what is telling you you're not good enough. That's the voice that's telling you, like, how dare you? Look at all the bad things that you've done in your life. You're not worthy. Just really laying on any bad thing that you've ever done in your life. It's that voice that eats away at you and makes you feel unworthy and not good enough to be able to flourish or thrive in your life. It is the voice that can put out the light of your soul. Okay, so I think, again, this episode very much illustrated that, where we see his victims are getting the life sucked out of them, right? Like, their bodies are almost falling apart, right? Like, those scenes were very graphic. And when we saw that first victim get taken, it was very scary. But I think the scenes of when he takes a victim illustrates a very good picture of what happens internally to us, and how, even though we're not dying physically and having our eyeballs pop into our heads and having our bones break and things like that, but we are killing ourselves internally when we give in to that Vecna voice inside our head, when we start listening to that negative self-talk and replaying some of the mistakes we've made in our lives, or the guilt that we hold on to for whatever it is, whatever guilt you feel or that unworthiness. When you give that power, it takes over you. And it really, like I said, it dims your light, it kills your soul. Like, you're killing yourself slowly by listening to that voice and giving in to that negative self-talk. Like, you're literally beating yourself down, and you're letting that Vecna inside you kill your soul. And one way out of that is really getting out of that negative space and not giving that your power and your focus. Tony Robbins' famous quote is, "Where your focus goes, energy flows," something along those lines. But it's very true, because whatever you focus on is what expands. That is what will keep popping up for you. That is what you'll keep attracting. Where you spend your energy is what's going to keep manifesting for you. Wherever you're focusing on, if you're focusing on problems, you're going to get more problems. If you're focusing on solutions, you're going to get more opportunities. What I really love about Stranger Things and the role that music played, being able to help these people not succumb to being a victim of Vecna, is I do think that there is a spiritual component, not only to sound and music, but it is a way to get you to focus and shake you out of that negative mindset. I know for me, music is a big part of my life. Like, I joke a lot and I play a lot of 2000s hip hop because that is like my jam. That's my era of music. I do enjoy all music, honestly, but that's my sweet spot and what I tend to listen to mostly and know the words. And I tend to quote a lot of songs from that period. But music is one thing that I can really pull myself out of those moments where I'm feeling defeated, or I'm maybe feeling depressed about some of the things that I have going on, or if I'm in a bad mood. Like, music is something that can always lift my spirits and lift my mood. And what I think music does, it's a way to transcend your thought and your mind, because you're focusing on the feel-good feelings that music gives you, whether it's the lyrics or the beat or whatever it is. Like, it's something that kind of makes you move or dance or pumps you up. It can really elicit these good feelings. Songs and music can even bring out emotions you may be suppressing within you. I know sometimes even like those sad songs or songs that you can really like let yourself let go in a way and just really feel the music. And it can be a way to let yourself break down and cry if you just need to cry and let these emotions out. I just really think it speaks to just how powerful music can be, and how it can really be a way for us to, again, break out of that negative self-talk and break us out to really like let go and come back almost into our bodies. Like, you know, the scene where Max is floating, it's before they figured out it's the music that's going to save her, right? And she's floating, and it's like in the head, and Vecna's talking to her, and they're going over all these things. Oh, Max, it's your fault that Billy died, and all these things that obviously she's thinking herself. And the second the music gets put on, it's like It wakes her up and brings her back to her body. It brings her back into reality and back into her being, and she can focus on those feel-good feelings and know like she's in charge. She has the power within her to overcome this, right? Like she can come back and not fall victim to be one of Vecna's players. And on that very last episode, when she decides to put herself out there and risk her life to attract Vecna to come out so they can have this big battle, she knows in her mind, she's like, I know that it's a mind game. I know if I can keep thinking positive thoughts, if I can keep myself in that mind space and not give him that power to take over those fears and think of those positive memories and those positive feelings, like I cannot let him get to me. And I think that speaks to how stuff works here as well, like how things work in reality is, again, when you don't give attention to those negative thoughts and soul-sucking negative self-talk, like if you can ignore that and focus on the positive things in your life and really focus on things that make you feel good, you can pull yourself out of these dark moments and pull yourself out of these self-sabotaging behaviors that we just get in with these internal battles of our mind and our inner conversations. And obviously things happened at the very end and we don't know exactly how things are going to turn out until next season, which is very exciting. But I did think that it gave a good illustration or a good parallel to that battle within our mind and really giving you a way to acknowledge that negative self-talk or those guilty feelings and the way we put ourselves down with that Vecna that's inside our minds. And one way to overcome that is to listen to music. Honestly, that's what I'm really trying to say, is that music is a great way, a great avenue for you to boost your mood, to get back into your body and to really let go, feel the beat and move your body. Like I know for me, music has always been an outlet for me. Always. I remember locking myself into my bathroom or whatever to turn up the music loud and just to be by myself and move my body however I wanted and just to dance and let go and just enjoy the music and just feel it and just be in that moment. It just made everything else go away, and it just lets you just recalibrate in a way. Listening to music and really letting go and being in that moment can really be a type of meditation, honestly, because it's a way to, again, bring you back, get you to good feeling thoughts, and feeling good feeling thoughts is a way to raise your vibration. It's a way to get back up onto the positive spiral of having things manifest for your life and getting back on that track of attracting things that you want to happen and giving you that shift to turn your focus on to what's available to me instead of what's missing. And it just really helps you get that positive energy up in your life. And I think about my dad, and music was a big thing for him as well, like as far back as I can remember, before my dad even got custody of me, being a very little girl and having my visitation with him. And he'd always have the music on loud. Like every Saturday morning on the weekends when I would be with him, I always remember the music just being on. That was always something. And even up until he passed, like that was just a big part of him. Like when I would stay at his house, I always knew he was up when the music would turn on, and he would call me a lot and the music's blaring in the background. Like he always had music on. And I think when you listen to the songs, it can bring you back to these good feeling memories and boost your mood and really helps you shift your focus and get back on that positive spin of things. So yeah, I think if it's something you haven't thought of before, to maybe start paying attention to your favorite songs and see how they make you feel, how they can change your mood when your favorite song comes on the radio or on your playlist. And think about if you listen to music when you work out or in your commute, in your car, when you're driving, in any situation where you're listening to music, see how it can change your mood and boost how you feel, because it can really change things and instead really help you make that quick shift if you're in a bad mood and need to get back on a positive thing, or okay, it's time to shake this stuff off and move forward. Whatever scenario happened, like this sucks, but let's shake it off and recalibrate to start looking for solutions. Like I think music is a great avenue to explore that. Anyway, this season was phenomenal, especially those last 2 episodes. Oh my gosh, were they just so amazing. The storyline, the cinematography and everything all together, I think was just so well done. And again, I just think it was cool, since everybody's still talking and thinking about this, to really point out how there is a real kind of lesson and real parallel to Vecna playing this character that could really be that negative piece of us that's in our mind that tries to grab hold of us and pull us in. And again, like I said, suck us down that negative spiral, suck our soul out. And that's literally what happens when you feed that negative self-talk in your head, and really how music can be such a powerful tool to help us rise out from that and get back into our bodies and ground us and get us back into that positive mindset and shifting our focus to being more solution focused instead of self-sabotaging and, this will never work out, and really just help push you up and get you back on a positive path. I have a sign by my coffee pot, and it says, all you need is coffee and gangster rap or something like that, something along those lines. And it's true. Like for me, like I'm a caffeine junkie. I do love caffeine. I probably should tone it down a little bit, but it is one of those things where it's pull your big curl panties up, get some coffee, and turn the music up and listen to whatever is going to just pump you up. And for me specifically, it's 90s, 2000s gangster rap, because that's what I just love, because it pumps me up and it just makes me feel empowered. I don't know, but like when I can recite lyrics to a lot of these songs, like it just makes me feel like I'm a fucking gangster and I can take on whatever comes my way. That's how that music makes me feel. It gets empowering. And obviously the artists were speaking to some of their own things that they realistically were, overcoming and taking on. But for me, it was like I'm fighting my own battles of what I'm dealing with now. And I use that music to pump me up. Music pumps me up to work out in the mornings, like when I'm tired and it's early and I like to get my workout done so it's out of the way, like first thing in the morning. Music's the thing that's going to pump me up and gets me ready for the day. And that's literally what starts my day, is pumping some good music, doing my workout, and then I tone it down and I do some meditation and journaling, and sometimes there's a walk before that or after that. But music's such a great mood boosting tool, and it shouldn't be overlooked. I think it's very important and can have positive effects on lots of people. And one of the things I'm working on right now is a sound healing certification, because there's been proven research on how sounds and music can literally help cells grow and heal. There's just so many benefits to sound and the energy it produces and the vibrations and how that can really affect us. And so I'm really excited to be learning more about how music can be healing on a whole cellular level or on an energetic level and boosting our mood, like I've been talking about. Anyway, very cool that we can use a pop culture TV show to really illustrate some things that I think have some true value, and seeing how music truly can be healing, uplifting, and raising your energy, bringing you into a higher vibrational state so that you feel more empowered to take on any problems or challenges that come your way, and to really shift your perspective to, I can handle what comes to me. I'm going to tell Vecna to fuck off, and I'm not going to listen to his crazy shit talking and making me feel guilty and bad about myself. Like, I'm going to rise up and take on the world, so to speak. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm always wanting to get feedback from you. Let me know what you liked, what you hated. If you want to be a guest on this show, I'll be having a guest at least once a month. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook at chelsea.vanbuskirk. Visit me on my website at chelseavanbuskirk.com. Let me know what's happening. If there's any topics you want me to cover, any questions you might have that I can speak on. I love getting feedback and love to have this as interactive as possible. And I just appreciate the time you take to give this podcast a listen. And I appreciate all the support and love out there. And